So welcome to today's video where we are talking about being grown-ups. Ew, gross. Requested that I talk about how I functioned like a normal human being when I was a full-time student, full-time worker in organizations, did YouTube, and somehow had a social life as well. And so I'm just going to kind of give you my experience and tips and advice on how to manage a crazy schedule when you are a full-time student and a full-time worker and do other things as well. Just to give you a little bit of background on how I work as a student, growing up throughout high school, I was an all-A student. I graduated high school with like a 4.4 or something GPA. I don't exactly remember. I know it was above a 4.0. It has never really been hard for me, and I do not want to come across as like cocky or like I'm a genius type of thing, because I'm not. But I'm just being honest, as in this is just literally how it felt for me, my own personal experience. And so like I said, school has never been super hard for me. I was never one of those people who had to study a lot. Most of the time I studied the night before or the day of for a test and that kind of stuff. I mean, I did homework when homework was supposed to be done. Sometimes I did it the morning of, sometimes I did it 3 days before it was due. So homework I was always on top of that. But as far as tests go, I never really had to study, and I still made good grades. I mean, A's. And so that was just kind of how I work. I don't really know how my mind does that, unless it's like math, because I really do have to study math. I'm not bad at it, but it's just not my, like science, I can do science, like no problem. But I wasn't a big studier, and so that's how high school went, and that's just how I worked. And then I got to college, and I kind of still did the same thing. I did homework when homework was due, obviously, but I still would only study like the night before a test or the day of a test. And so, I don't know, that just worked for me. I wasn't making, like, I was making B's in college and stuff like that. I would make like, you know, like 4 A's and 2 B's for a semester or something like that. Not that that bothers me, because I understand college is harder than high school, that's for sure. But I still didn't really change my ways throughout college. I just can't sit down 7 days before a test and start studying. Like my brain just doesn't work. I'm just like, why? This is stupid. And not that that doesn't work for other people, because it really, if that's how you work, then that's perfect. Keep doing that. I personally just can't do that. Like the longest I can sit down and study is for like 30 minutes, if that, before I have to go do something else, because I don't know, maybe I have extreme ADD, who knows, but I just cannot. I'm not a big studier. I just can't do it. And so that's just I literally just kind of did the same thing throughout my college. I probably would have made all A's had I studied more, but I just don't work like that. I just don't function that way. And so that's just kind of how I studied. So when people ask me for study tips, I'm like, ooh, I am not the person to ask, because I am not a huge studier. If you have grown up with me, then you know that I did a crazy last semester of college. The summer before I graduated, I took 23 hours over the summer, and then the semester that I graduated last semester, fall of 2014, I took 21 hours. Now, you also know that I moved out when I was 18 years old and have to pay everything. I fully financially support myself, so I also have to work a crap ton because I have to pay bills. And my parents don't help me at all whatsoever. My school is free because of the Hazelwood Act. If you don't know what that is, please Google it. I'm not the person to ask questions on that about. But other than that, they paid nothing. I'm like literally nothing. Like no bills, no food, no gas, no car, no nothing. And so I pay everything. So I had to work. Like not working was not an option. So I'm going to just mainly focus on my last semester of college, the fall of 2014, because that was the craziest semester that I had ever had. Now, to kind of give you an outline, I was taking 21 hours worth of classes. I was taking 9 classes total. I was working 30 to 35 hours a week, and more on the 35 N side. And then I was involved in 2 organizations. One of them was an organization where I was constantly doing stuff. We had meetings every week, we had mixers and profit shares and all that kind of stuff all the time. Every single week I had something to do with them. My other one was like a meeting every other week, and we really didn't have to do that much. And then I did YouTube as well, and then I also had a social life. Like, you know, I have family and friends that I want to hang out with. It's just a lot to balance. So as far as school went, I used a planner. I'm not a big planner person because most of the time I can keep track of what I have to do, but I was in 4.5 online classes because one of my classes was hybrid, so I did in-school stuff and online stuff. So I was in 4.5 online classes, and then I was taking in-school classes as well. And so it was just a lot to keep track of, and so that's why I decided to get a planner. I got my planner from Walmart, so it's like super cheap. And I would keep this little tab on it just so I could easily turn to the week of. So I will give you kind of an overview of what my planner would look like, and so I'll switch the camera angles real quick. So this is what my planner looks like, and I'll just flip, let's see, school started in September, so that gives you an overview of the month. And then, sorry, my phone is going off. And we start into the weeks. This is what it looked like. And so what I would do was I would write down, for my online classes, I wrote down, it obviously gives you a syllabus so you know when things are due, and I would write down when everything was due, and then each class was highlighted in a different color. So for instance, on the week of September 8th, 2014, I had 2 things due in this class on Tuesday, 1 thing due in that class on Tuesday, and then I had, you know, so then all the stuff that is not highlighted, that's when I would plan what homework I was going to do that day. Okay, and so for instance, like, I had an annotated bibliography due right here, and so I was like, this is the day I'm going to do that, and then I had 2 other assignments due that day. I had a philosophy paper due, and I had a module 1 assignment due for one of my health classes. And so like, I would write down what I needed to do that day, but I also wrote down what was due that day. So assignments that were due, and then what homework I was going to do. So that's kind of how I know that's super confusing, now it's like saying it out loud, but that's just how I like wrote it all out. So everything that's highlighted, each class was a different color, so I would know, like, you know, these are 2 different classes that I need to look at, and then I would write down what homework I planned to do that day. And then I had weekend stuff too. So I'll just kind of give you a brief overview. Now we're into October. So you can see I had lots of stuff due lots of days, and my weeks were just packed, and I was literally, I mean, I have something every single day, as you can see. Like, it's just insane. And this is just school. This has nothing to do with organizations or work or outside activities. This is just school. I had a planner just for school. So I'm just kind of flipping through it just so I can show you what my weeks were looking at. And that's how I kept my planner, and like I said, only for school. Keep it separate. Keep it separate. So that's what I was doing for school. I had my planner, and I would just go through my planner every day and do what I had said homework I was going to do, and then check to make sure that I turned in my homework. Now with my online classes, everything is work at your own pace. So all the quizzes that were due for this semester were all open, and you could take them at any time. And I took advantage of that, and I worked way ahead. Now my semester obviously ended in December, but I was completely done with all homework assignments and all quizzes due for the entire semester. I was completely done with everything by the last week in October. That's how far I worked ahead. So for the month of November and then half of December, I had nothing due in my online classes except taking tests. And for my online classes, there were only 2 semesters, 2 tests a semester, and so I had a midterm and a final, and that's the only test that I had in my online classes. Everything else was quizzes or homework assignments. So like I said, I worked really far ahead. That way I had November off from my online classes, and I could just focus on my in-school classes as well as organizations and that kind of stuff. So if you have the opportunity to take online classes, I definitely would. It gives you, like I said, you work at your own pace, and that kind of stuff. So also, I had to take online classes because I can't be in school all day long because I have to work. So the reason I took online classes was so I could work so much because I have to pay my own bills. And so if you have the option of taking online classes, I definitely would. It opens up your schedule so that you can work as much as possible for you. And you have to understand, I work at a daycare and my daycare closes at 6. So I had to be able to work during the day, and I couldn't like go to school all day and then work at night because working at night was not an option for me. My daycare closes at 6, so I have to get my work hours in before that time. So yes, I could take night classes, and sometimes I did. Sometimes I would work all day long and then I would go to school at like, I would get off at like 4:30, and then I'd go to class at 5 and go to class on from there. But most of the time I was doing, I had school in the morning and then I'd go to work until 6. So a typical day for me would be, for instance, I can remember on Mondays I had class, I had 2 classes in the morning. I had class from 8 to 10:10, I think. So I would have my class at 8, have one class, and then I'd have another class, and then I would get out of class at 10:10, and then I had work at 10:30. So I would leave directly from school and go straight to work, and I would work 10:30 to close, in which close would be 6 o'clock. And then I would get off work and I'd come home and I'd sit down and I'd do whatever I needed to do for my online classes that day. So whether that was turn in some homework assignments, maybe do a quiz, maybe do a homework assignment for another class. Honestly guys, sometimes I would work on homework until 11 or so at night and then go to bed and wake up the next morning. And if I didn't have an 8 a.m. class, I was going into work at 7:20, and then I might get off at like 3:30 and then go to school. And then on Tuesdays I had my organization meetings. On Thursdays I had another organization meeting, and so I have to account for that as well. I know this is like really, I feel so like all over the place with this video, but that's kind of how my life was. Anyways, that's like what a typical day would involve for me. Now on the weekends, I really tried to not do homework, only because I knew I needed to give myself a break. And so I would work really hard during the week and then have the weekend off. So that means I could go have family dinner or go, to the movies or have a date night with Hayden or go see friends or something like that. And so I really tried to make my school week, Monday through Friday, really compact, and then have the weekends as a little refresher, a little time to relax, like recoup myself for the following week. One thing you have to understand or keep telling yourself is that it's not going to last forever. You're not going to be in your degree forever. You will graduate, you will get that degree, and then you won't have to deal with school anymore. Of course, unless you're going to get your master's or something like that. But understand that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and as long as you keep telling yourself, if I just do this, just get through this. And that's a lot of the time, that's what I did. I was like, just get through today and then you'll be done. Just get through this one assignment and then you'll be done. And I really did take it day by day. I mean, it's exhausting to know, oh my gosh, I have 3 more months left of this semester, but 3 more months compared to however many years you're gonna be in this amazing career. So to me, I just took it day by day, and I just, got through it, and I knew that it was all worth something. Trust me, when you have that degree hanging up on your wall, you're like, heck yeah, look at me. I think it was totally worth it. Also, you have to tell your family and friends that you might not be available. Learn to say no. Learn to, if your family is like, please just come over for dinner, be like, I'm sorry, it's nothing against them, but you have to do your priorities right now. And right now, getting your degree and paying your bills are your priority. You might have to skip a few family dinners, or you might not be able to do every event that your friends are going to, but trust me, in the end, you're gonna have that amazing degree, and you are independent. I look at myself, and I'm only 20 years old. Well, I'll be 21 in a week, but I'm only 20 years old, and I know how to budget. I know how to find car insurance. I know what to look for when I'm moving into a house. I have a college degree. I feel very independent, and I feel like I am going to be successful because I have taught myself how to be a grown-up and how to function in a real world that sometimes isn't easy. and I know what it's like, and I feel very blessed. You know, had my parents paid for everything, my life might have been a little bit easier. But if I could go over and do it all again, I'd do it the exact same way, because I know not having that option of my parents paying for everything and me having to do it myself just made me grow as a person, and I feel very accomplished at such a young age. So I think having a planner for school is a really, really big tip. You might need to write motivational messages to yourself and stick them on your bathroom mirror or on your vanity, or even like put a timer in your phone and like have it go off for Thursdays at 5 o'clock and have it pop up a little message to you. Have a timer come up, instead of saying, you know, hair appointment, it'll say, you can do this, I believe in you. Or put a Bible verse that's encouraging to you and have it pop up on your phone so you can have that reminder. Make sure you're telling your family and friends that maybe this is a hard semester for you, and they're going to have to understand that you might not be able to make it to everything, but that this is really important to you right now, and hopefully they are very supportive of you and your goals and your dreams as well. Make sure your boss knows. You know, I don't know if where you work would be near as flexible as my boss is, but sometimes your boss needs to know, like, hey, I am a college student, I am a full-time worker, so, you know, I am doing all of this extra stuff on the side from just being your employee. You know, I'm doing my job as best I can, but know that I'm also doing all of this other stuff. And so I would talk to your employer about that. Just know that you're worth it, and that this isn't going to last forever, and that it will be so worth it when you earn that degree, that college degree. And if you want to know how I got my degree, my bachelor's degree in 2.5 years, I will link that video down below. It kind of goes through all of that. Yeah. So I don't really know if this video is what you guys wanted. I felt like I was just talking and didn't give super great advice. So if you have any more questions, very specific questions that you don't really feel like I answered in this video, just comment down below and I will answer them then, because like I said, everybody just asks for tips and advice, and that's just what that's what I'm giving, is my personal tips and advice. But then again, I don't know if that's what y'all wanted to hear. So comment down below if you have any more questions. I really do hope that this video helped in some way, and I know that you can do it. And I did it. I'm only 20 years old and I did it, and I know that you can do it. I'm so proud of you, and I love you all so much. Thanks for watching. Love ya. Mwah.